What's going on, guys? My name is Robbie. I'm a freshman here at Arizona State University, and today I'll be sharing the goods and the bads of the journey to med school. And obviously, I'm only a freshman, so my information is a little slim, but I mean, I'll try to share the best I can of my journey, the goods and the bads, as I said. And yeah, because as a high school, I went to public high school, and I was always nervous of when I get to college, how hard is it gonna be? Am I gonna be competing against these whizzes or whatever? But that's not the case. So I'm just gonna share with you guys what I've learned this year, and hopefully to alleviate a little stress in you guys, and you guys got it. Okay, so obviously you want to be a doctor, and so there's a lot of preparation that needs to happen. And I honestly, as an incoming freshman, I was not very prepared in any way. So I'm gonna try to prepare you guys a little bit and give you guys more of a realistic what the stress level is gonna be like, what you gotta do, and your first year to just get cruising to the next step. Okay. So the goods from this year is I have met some insanely amazing people. I have a group of about 5 people, and we're all like-minded, very like-minded. So we study together, we do homework together, we just do everything together, and it's nice to do something that's very tough in a pack of people, because then you can learn, but it also pushes you, and a little bit of good competition. And yeah, another good is it's very enjoyable if you like learning about the body, how it works, and the small and the big of life. So how a cell works a little bit, we scratch the surface of that, scratch the surface of how ecosystems and bigger whole organisms work. So that's really cool. But probably the most important thing is wherever you go, and if you want to become a doctor enough, you can do it. The university will do whatever they can to get you there. Professors aren't trying to fail you. You're gonna have to work. I'm not saying you don't have to work, but it is definitely possible for anybody to at least do well, get all A's or B's in their classes. So what I'm just trying to say is with enough grit and with enough determination, you can work your way through it. And for me, that alleviated a lot of stress for me, because I was what if I try my hardest and I still can't get chemistry down or something, I can't do thermodynamics correctly. But you have so many resources, the internet is insane. You can go to office hours, and you can meet the professor, and I recommend doing that so you can get to know them, and then they will help you, because they if you go to office hours, then it shows that you care, and so then they'll know oh, huh, Robbie cares, I'm gonna help him a little bit. So yeah, you can. So let's talk about stress and the cons of the journey. At least for me this year, I came in oh, you need a 4.0 and do really good on the MCAT and get all these volunteer whatever hours, and that's all important. But it all creates stress, and I feel stress is such a huge wall to break through, and you really can't do anything when you're just stressed out of your mind all the time. So I'm gonna get into them. Okay, so the first one obviously is good grades, and it kind of just stresses you out every time you either a week out from a test, or after a test you're waiting for the grade. Your stress levels will just be so high. And then also, as a second part to this stress of grades, is you're competing. There's this toxic academic competition of either I'm competing with somebody else, oh, they did better on a test, they're gonna take my spot or something silly like that. It just gets in your mind, and it's just so toxic, exchanging grades and stuff, and it can just add so much more stress to you. Then the next one is to get into med school, you should try to get some volunteer hours and stuff. Even though I haven't, because I've been trying to get a job. But when I see other people doing all that stuff, it makes me feel left out and more stressed. Oh, I should be doing this. If they're doing this, I gotta fit in and do this, because I don't want them to take my spot, obviously. So you might not feel like you're doing enough, but you are. But it just adds a lot of stress to you. The last thing, and it's a little underrated, is just the major. It just comes with the major. The stress comes with the major, but it is tough seeing other people not as stressed because they're in a different major. But hey, that I chose it. It's just what you pick, and you can't complain, but it does add a little stress. So I'm gonna get into like ways that help release my stress, and I think that this is what got me through the year, and I recommend for you guys to do. All right, so number one thing that helped me release all my stress was definitely getting active, like moving my body. So beginning of the year, I played a little volleyball until I broke my foot, but it was a lot of fun because just running around sweating, it just releases, it makes you just forget all of your assignments or anything that you have to do, but in a good way, for like an hour or two. And it just gives you like that slight break. And now I just lift at the gym and it does the same thing because it's just pushing your body, focusing on like the pain, like the contraction or whatever over your assignments. And it's just a nice, I guess, break from reality. The second thing that helped deal with my stress was talking to upperclassmen. And the upperclassmen I talked to were about 3 years older than me. So they have 3 years of valuable experience and knowledge. Like they told me like what classes to take, what classes not to take, and like what to study, and like what my journey should look like, what my goal should look like, what I should be doing. Because these are all questions in your mind that are just gonna run through your mind all year. And as like a freshman, I still don't know very much, but it's very helpful having upperclassmen to like turn to and to ask questions. Lastly, we also all have a backup plan of like taking multiple gap years, because the average age of getting into med school is 24 years old, and so that's 2 years after you graduate. So the average person takes at least one gap year and then has an application year, which they can still, during the application year, you can still work and get all those hours, and you can honestly take the MCAT again too. So that's the backup plan, is after college, if you got too much on your plate during college, you're not doing too hot, after college you can make up a lot of stuff. You can even get into a master's program, boost your GPA, and so there's just so many ways to just work your way through not doing terribly well in college, and to just help you make it. Because as I said before, if you work really hard and you care enough, this is your dream, then like nothing's gonna stop. All right guys, thanks for watching. So like in the end, I think that the stress levels are gonna be pretty high all the time, so expect that, but then also expect to have a little fun, make some friends, and just try to do as many things as you can to just brush off the stress and to keep the levels in like a functionable range. But thank you for watching, and good luck.